Professional Women's Bowling Association presents the 1998 AMF Lubbock, Texas Open. We are here in Lubbock, Texas. It's supposed to be warm, but it's snowing outside. It's supposed to be warm, but we're inside where the lights are bright and the action is hot. We have the best bowlers in the world on hand, back for 1998. And I'm happy to be back. I'm Leandra Riley, and joining me in this telecast is one of the top bowlers in the league, Jan Schmidt. And it's great to be reunited with you, Jan.
It is, and I'm glad you're back, and especially not only for your talent, but because last time you were out here, I won. So I'm looking forward to this year.
That's right, and that was back in 1993, so I've been away quite a while. All right, let's get to our stepladder finals. And our first match, we are going to see Kim Kennedy bowling against a lady who's back from back surgery, Tammy Turner. Now, the winner of that match will face Dana Miller-Mackey, and then our runner-up is Tish Johnson, and the number one person tonight is Carol Giannotti Block. She's in the number one spot, the hot seat. How do you rank this tournament?
Well, I tell you, whoever wins tonight is going to have the first Professional Women's Bowling Association title. And if I were able to bet out here, my money would have to be on Carol Giannotti Block. She has a tremendous amount of confidence from last year, and she's out to avenge last year's loss. Right here in Lubbock, she lost by just one pin.
Carol's got some tension ahead of her, though, because she has to wait 3 matches till she steps up to the lanes. Right now, it is Kim Kennedy against Tammy Turner in our first match. Two of the women in our stepladder finals are lefties, but we begin with a pair of righties, and this is Kim Kennedy, 32 years old, from Oakland, California.
Opening shot going high. In fact, right as we were ready to start, Leandra, Tammy Turner walked over and looked at me and said, hey, the left lane is really tough. So they're both apparently having some trouble on the left-hand lane. Kim Kennedy only making one show last year, well below her average. Has to be feeling a little bit of nerves out there tonight.
Her last one was in 1995 at Claremont. Oh, unable to convert on that left lane is going to be tricky. We're bowling on lanes 21 and 22 as we now look at Tammy Turner, the 27-year-old Taminator. She is from West Palm Beach, Florida, but now she calls Stowe, Ohio, her home.
Also lived in Canyon, Texas for quite a period of time.
Right lane looks good, and so does Tammy.
Ooh, and it's amazing. Quite a story, Tammy Turner. As you mentioned in the open, just coming off of back surgery. She was off for a year and a half with that back injury. Came out as one of the strongest competitors ever as a rookie, and then that devastating injury to the back.
The injury, she said, actually took place when she was about 12 years old. She fell on her tailbone, and it didn't rear its ugly head until the end of '96, where she really had to deal with it. And it was a cracked bone in the lumbar region of the back. They had to remove the cracked bone, take a bone from her hip, fuse the whole thing together. There's pins and screws, and it is an operation that's the referee out.
And she gets a big break on 21, crossing over, going Brooklyn. You might wonder why she chose to finish on lane 21 if she said it's tough, but she wants to finish the match first, making Kim finish last, so all the pressure will be on Kim.
It was rough. I'm glad she did that strike. It was important to her. All right, Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light, presenting this AMF Lubbock, Texas Open. And we resume with Kim Kennedy as she steps back over to 21. It was a little squirrely in the first. Let's see how it does now in the third.
The lanes this week, Leandra, were very dry, hooking condition as we call it.
Still in her trouble.
And that's what they mean by tough. You know, she went on the nose, leaving the 310. Now she made a little bit of a move and barely hit the head pin. So it's going to be really interesting to see who can line up lane 21 tonight.
You know, we saw very quickly on the graphic that she had a 218 average. That's quite a high average. The conditions were really quite nice here.
They were, and it was such a gap in scoring this week. Players either really hit this condition well or they didn't hit it at all. Well.
Oh, my.
Even the spare ball's hooking. She switched to a ball that is supposed to go straight, a plastic ball, and that even hooked. But at any rate, they either hit it, the players that really can hook the ball and open up the lane, in other words, project the ball right through the front part of the lane, pretty much scored the best, although Lisa Wagner, sitting next to us, fared very well, and Debbie McMullen had a good week, and they're both straighter players.
And is that new this year that Dixie get to work with us in the booth here? Lisa Wagner sitting next to us, helping us with statistics.
Tammy leaving a 7-pin, brushing her shoe off there. It's always important to get good footing. A lot of times if you're slipping, that's a good tip for those of you at home. If you have a wire brush, just scuff up that sole and it'll help you from slipping so much.
She's got it.
Tammy's injury, talking about that, you know, she was in a body cast for almost 3 months, and then a couple months where she couldn't even leave the house, and 7 months of rehab. Just, wow. I mean,
something she did mention to us as well, how much she credits her mom and stepdad, who split their work shifts. I think her stepdad worked nights, just so they could take care of her. And that was really, it brought a tear to her eye.
The
dedication that she got from not just her family, but the cards and letters she got from the fans and the fellow competitors on the tour. It meant a lot to her.
And she said her boyfriend, Hank Boomershine, who is here tonight, was a big support, and her best friends, Carolyn and Kathy Doran,
right.
Big help to her, and also Fred Borden, who worked with her in getting her game back in order to come back here on tour.
Oh, she leaves it open, and the door is now open. We will continue with the AMF Lubbock, Texas Open in just a moment. Welcome back. While we were away, the 19-pin lead is diminished to 10, although it got as close as 8. And in a case of I'd rather be lucky than good, take a look at this shot by Tammy Turner in the 8th frame. Her last shot. Watch this.
Ball quits driving, almost call it roll out or hook out. And look at this, head pin off the wall, taking out both pins, the 5 and the 7.
Self-inflicted CPR. She started her own heart with that shot. So now on lane 22, it is Kim Kennedy who will bowl in the 8th frame. And this is very much still in the hunt. Now, Kim Kennedy last had a strike in the 5th frame. She also had a strike in the 2nd frame.
She converted a 310 and a 3610 while we were gone. 10. Well, if it's set short at all or set down early into the lane, it just hooks immediately. Very important all week to project the ball right and get it clean through the heads or the front part of the lane.
I noticed on 22 we're leaving that 10 pin a lot. We've seen a lot of 9s with the 10 pin standing.
Trails by 11 here, though. She really needs to get something going. Needs to set up a strike. Close match, anybody's match, but 9th frame is important.
Now, she's not had much luck on this lane. Yes, you said it, she did it.
That was a beauty. Has lane 21 figured out now? Okay, Tammy's working on a strike in the 8th. Can increase her lead to 21 with the strike here. Doesn't get any better than that.
2 in a row.
She definitely has not lost her ability to perform under pressure. Well, the best Kim Kennedy can shoot now would be 193. So Tammy actually is going to need a strike on the first ball in the 10th to shut out Kim Kennedy. If she were to go 9 spare strike, I believe we could have a tie. She's fortunate just to leave the 10 pin here. If she spares and strikes, she will secure no worse than a tie. She shook off that one miss of the 10-pin, which we were away while that happened. She did miss one, but came back and picked up another one since then, and that's the second one. It really doesn't affect the professionals too much when they miss a spare like that. They kind of put it out of their head, unlike many of the league bowlers at home who maybe would continue to think about that.
Well, I'm still thinking about it for her, so.
Pin count extremely important. Yeah. Okay, that 9 count now. Kim Kennedy can step up with 3 strikes and win this match.
By 1 pin. But that really puts the pressure on Kim. So far, she's had 3 strikes in the 2nd, and the 5th, and the 9th.
So you wonder, hey, maybe Tammy shouldn't have chose to finish on lane 21, knowing that was a tough lane. But she didn't want the pressure on her, and let's see how this lady handles the pressure right now. Well, unfortunate, came up high, wanted to kind of stuff the pocket there, but Kim's happy. You know, last year was a tough year, just missed so many shows, show after show, week after week. She was in the top 10. She was the Robbie Award winner. Twice she won in 1997 and 1995.
She certainly exemplifies professionalism, just didn't have her stroke tonight. We'll be back with more. It's Tammy Turner against Dana Miller-Mackey after this. Welcome back to Lubbock, Texas. Dana Miller-Mackey will start things off as the stepladder climbs to round 2. You saw Tammy Turner defeat Kim Kennedy, and now our first southpaw steps up. Was that an advantage on lane 21 to be a lefty?
It may be. We'll have to see how that lane plays for the left-handers.
Oh, number 10.
Coming up a little light. I would say definitely, you know, by that shot, it looks like they will have the advantage on that lane. But as we talked about earlier, Leandra, you and I were having a conversation about how lanes change and break down, and specifically with the television lights, the lanes change very quickly, so you never know, it can turn around, and they may end up with a great shot on both sides of the lane.
It's interesting that the television lights do have that effect on the oil. You wouldn't think about that, but I guess it does.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of heat.
Tammy Turner now throws a 14-pound ball. She used to bowl with a 15-pound ball, but as we mentioned with her her back problem, she went to a lighter ball and is going to stay with it for a while. She also mentioned she's going to limit her backswing a little bit and try to maintain her posture, again, because of that lumbar fusion surgery.
Right, and they just saw flash up the final score of that first match, 192 to 173. Tammy actually worked with a 13-pound bowling ball when she first came back. She bowled a regional event with the 13-pound and made the cut. So it's incredible what you can do with the lighter weight bowling balls when you throw it like Tammy Turner does.
Well, Tammy Turner leaves an open frame. Not a great way to start things out, but we'd like to remind you that tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owner and operator of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun.
And this is an AMF center, AMF Classic Lanes, and it is a lot of fun. PM Justice, what a great job her staff did. Food, caddies, limousines, wine, water, everything we wanted was at our fingertips this week.
And what a delightful lady Pam Justice is. Maybe we'll get a chance to see her a little bit later on, but right now Tammy Turner is trying to find herself. She left herself a little bit of problems here, opening in the first frame and with a spare here, hopefully in the second.
So she missed the 6-10, the ball slid on lane 22, the same way when she missed the 10-pin there, so it appears there's a part of conditioner down the lane where the ball continues to slide right.
There's Pam Justice. We mentioned her, and of course, Dana Miller-Mackey just stepped in front of her, so we'll get another shot of Pam later on. But something about Dana Miller-Mackey, she is on the AMF Pro staff. We mentioned that AMF is one of the sponsors here and a title sponsor, and oh my.
Trouble for Dana, and there's the look at Pam.
Hats off to that lady.
as often happens, one lane that is worse for the right-handers, the other lane is probably worse for the left-handers. That happens many, many times. It's usually the opposite.
And there is her husband, Steve. He's the vice president of AMF Worldwide International Distributions. So Steve Mackey on hand, and he's kind of rolling his eyes for his wife. Dana Mackey had mentioned to us last night when we were speaking with her that her goal is to really stay relaxed and to enjoy this, because she tightens up so much that she actually gets cramps, and she really needs to mellow out.
You create injuries when you tight like that. Great shot on lane 21. And we talked about that even with Tammy and myself. Many of the veteran players have been out here a while. Bowling under pressure of a tournament is so much different from when you would just be at home practicing. You can bowl 100 games a week practicing with no injury problem. But you come out here and you tighten up. You need that pressure shot. And your muscles tighten up and the injuries just happen so easily.
All right, that's what Tammy needed. So we have a very, very close match.
Well, Tammy hasn't lost a bit. Still a five-step approach, holding the ball higher than she did, creating a little more ball speed. Look at that high backswing, low to the line all the way through, and watch that release. Powerful, always has been, and hasn't lost anything from the back surgery.
And it's interesting because she said she wanted a lower backswing, but on that shot, you clearly saw that backswing was high.
Well, this week she had to maintain the ball speed because of the lane condition, the drier lane condition.
This one's close, and she's keeping it tight. Taminator puts the pressure on Dana Miller-Mackey. We'll be back with more, but first we're going to pause for these commercial messages. Welcome back. Tammy Turner has bowled 4 strikes in the last 5 frames. She has really turned up the heat on Dana Miller-Mackey, who seems to be struggling.
She did. Dana missed a 7-pin. She's having a little bit of trouble right now getting lined up. See if you can look at Dana's hand right there. See the fingers that go into the bowling ball? She has them completely taped. She was having a problem with her fingers cutting from the grips, from the twisting motion of releasing the ball. And she really got tired of trying to keep them patched and keep them from bleeding. So she said, heck with it, I'm just going to tape them completely. A lot of players will wear gloves or that type of thing. She also has her thumb patched. With some flexi patch there and then some type of tape around her fingers, but that's really helped. And sometimes when you bowl a lot of games, you do start to have that kind of problem. The grips kind of adhere to your skin, and as you twist and release the ball, it pulls and tears.
And it's interesting, she's got a theory that if you have long arms, and she's got pretty long legs and arms, that you tend to rotate early. And so her dad, her parents are both professional bowlers, or used to be, her dad's been helping her. And she said her dad's got a great eye. She just moved back to Albuquerque, New Mexico after 4 years in Fort Worth, Texas. And she said it's really been helping. So Dana Miller-Mackey puts back-to-back strikes together as Tammy Turner steps up on 22. And she was up by 12 when we went to that commercial break. She's now ahead by 24.
Ooh, okay. She was fortunate that the 7-pin fell out. Still has a double wood there, the 2-8. Wasn't the easiest spare this week. But you see this ball out a little bit farther right, never really turned over, no energy driving toward the pocket. 7-pin falling at the last minute. Play to cook it, the spare gets it. And that was the better percentage this week. Most of the players sometimes will play that shooting straight at it with the spare ball. It was very hard to pick up that way. Much better percentage hooking the ball at that spare this week.
Tammy said after the back surgery and, being in a body cast and unable to walk after the surgery, that it means so much to her now, this sport. And her goal was really to finish this tournament here in Lubbock, Texas. And here she is, not only in the TV finals, but, finishing 4th, eliminating the first step ladder, bowling all these strikes. I mean, she is really a comeback kid.
Well, that's basically, she'll need 7 pins on the next 2 balls to shut out Dana Miller-Mackey. The best Dana can shoot at this point is 214. Tammy getting some good light breaks on lane 21. At least has found her way to the pocket on that lane.
Needed 7, got 8.
She's blowing her fingers, kind of joking around. Hey, I really hit that one.
Uh-huh.
It was an out of range. The rack knocked the 5-pin over because the 5 had moved and it was out of range. So since the rack hit it, the pin will have to be respotted.
All right, Dana Miller Mackey is one of those ladies who has to deal with the dilemma of being home or on the road. She told us about it.
I've always enjoyed being at home, and I guess being a homemaker and being a family person. And it's very difficult for me to be out on the road, but I feel that God gives every person different gifts to use and abilities, and I feel it's almost my job that he's called me to do, to use the abilities he's given me. And I feel like that's what keeps me going, and plus I enjoy sports and I enjoy bowling still. So as long as those two, if I feel that I'm supposed to still be out here and I still enjoy it and that's what I'm supposed to do, then I'll stay out. And then hopefully my husband and I will eventually have children, then I can stay home.
Dana Miller Mackey was quite an outstanding young lady. She's very talented in arts and crafts, and she's also a member of Mensa. And that's the high IQ organization. So Dana Miller Mackey is going to finish things off. Tammy Turner moves on, and she faces another southpaw. Can she eliminate her? Let's find out. Don't go away. The step ladder continues to climb. Tammy Turner has now moved past Kim Kennedy and Dana Miller Mackey, and she faces another southpaw and Tish Johnson.
We talked about relaxed. Are these players relaxed or what? A lot of fun going on during the break here.
And final score in the last match against Dana Miller Mackey, 218 to 179. So that was a resounding thump by Tammy. And that one, as she leaves standing in 21, a lane that's been giving her trouble all night.
It has. She was coming light on several hits, almost leaving the 5-7 a couple times, finally did leave it. So she probably made a move on that shot, came up high. Also a little slow after the break there.
So the 1996 runner-up to Wendy McPherson for Bowler of the Year is showing some great success here tonight in her first run of 1998 after taking 1997 off. Now, this is Tish Johnson, a woman who's making some decisions about her future. Oh, that kind of settles the score right there. She's the runner-up in this tournament at this point in time and opens with a strike on 22. She hasn't really done a whole lot in 97 or 96, except for that big $100,000 check in the Super Hoinky, don't get me wrong. But she said she's going to decide after this year whether or not she's going to come back next year.
Depends on how she performs throughout the year, but just for a note for viewers at home, she's using 2 different bowling balls right now. One on lane 22, one on lane 21. So obviously on the left side, the lanes are different also. Always having fun with the crowd and the competitors.
Mm-hmm. She is a crowd favorite. Tammy Turner up for career pro titles for her. She was a 1994 Rookie of the Year. The AMF Lubbock, Texas Open is brought to you by Visionary Bowling Products, maker of the high-performance Warlock, Sorcerer, and Amulet. Visit your local pro shop and get custom fitted for a Visionary ball today. And you are looking at Anissa Craven. She's a beautiful lady, and she was voted so by the judges. That is Miss Lubbock, USA.
And she came out and bowled our Pro-Am event. I bowled with her. A lot of fun. She took bowling in college, she said.
A recreational bowler who enjoys the sport and probably enjoyed that shot on lane 21, no less, by Tammy Turner. So Tish Johnson, who's working on a pair of strikes, steps up on 22. One of 2 lefties in the stepladder final. Dana Miller Mackey was one. She is now the other. Another strike for Tish. Mentioned earlier that she said this is a bubble year for her. She told us earlier about making decisions for next year.
Well, I've been working out. I've lost some weight. I'm trying to get in shape. These young kids come out and they start kicking my butt, so I'm trying to do a little bit better and just going to bowl and at the end of the year just make a decision if I'm going to come out again.
Judging by her training, especially during the hiatus, and the bowling season has been on about a 4-month hiatus. This is the first stop. Judging by her seriousness, I think she wants to come back next year.
Oh, sure. Wow. But she wants to be competitive. And
Yes.
last year she didn't feel like she was as competitive as she's used to. And she doesn't want to continue to bowl if that's going to be the case. Tammy has her work cut out for her here.
Ah, sweet. Very good. Very, very good.
She's going to keep the pressure on Tish. Tammy's sitting down to brush off her shoe, apparently slipping a little bit.
Well, the way she slipped on that last line, I think she should have left it.
Tish was brushing her hair with Tammy's shoe brush there.
Oh, okay. You can see it's just a 10-pin difference. This could go any way at this point. Oh, Tammy leaves it open.
And that was a nice shot. She's been really struggling to find the solid, solid in the pocket on 21. That was beauty. Six pin just wrapping the 10. Here's a look at that shot. Just going to send the ball out to about the 10th board. It's coming driving back. 6-pin wrapped, flew around it. That's a solid hit. When it lays down in the channel, that's kind of a soft 10 or a weak 10.
No problem there. Tish Johnson now working on her 5th strike. I don't want to jinx it, but we all know what we're thinking about.
And we are delighted that we just learned just prior to this broadcast that MasterCard has agreed to offer $50,000 cash prize to any TV finalist that rolls a 300 game during the entire 1998 year.
Wouldn't it be great? And you I don't want to say anything. I'm so glad I didn't jinx her. I don't want to say anything, but what a great way to start the year. If that did indeed happen, I'm not going to say it again, but oh my.
We know we saw our first one ever last year. Michelle Feldman
did it
in Danville, Virginia, won the title in the championship match with a 300. Unfortunately, no award offered at that time, so we really need another one. One of the ladies need to correct.
Oh, we're still going. We're still going. Oh my, 6 in a row. Tish Johnson is in the groove. She said she worked with different weight combinations. She lost the weight. She's more serious about it, and boy, does it show.
Well, Tammy's going to need to just keep striking, obviously. Tish is lined up, no doubt. Tammy just an issue of carry now. I think she's lined up on both lanes.
She has a smooth one. Oh, what happened there?
Say that. Mrs. Light just quite didn't catch that ball, get as much revolution as she was before. Let's watch her release. So now here the ball's still sliding, actually out to about the 8th board. Earlier she was only getting out to about 10. There's some conditioner there toward the outside of the lane, and the ball just didn't get back.
Would a heavier ball have made a difference? Boy, she's lucky that fell.
She is.
Would a heavier ball have made a difference?
Not in the term of continuing to drive, no. When a heavier ball will make a difference, oftentimes is the carry. It'll drive through the pins harder. It won't deflect as much, which makes the pins fall differently. But with Tammy Turner's release and the way her ball drives anyway, weight is not as much an issue as it would be for someone who throws a straighter ball.
She's keeping the pressure on Tish Johnson. Tish Johnson's got a different kind of pressure on her when you lay down 6 strikes in a row.
Well, Tish also worked over the break with John Jowdy out at the Merritt Tournament, and then she stayed in Vegas for a month to practice. She worked on pushing the ball up and out a little bit more, and her hand more open.
No, it's over. Crowd appreciates what she was working on, though.
Can I have that one back, please?
She's asking tournament director Rick Ramsey if she can have that shot back. And I know he doesn't have to check the rule book on that.
Do-overs and mulligans. Every sport needs them.
Well, you know, players might be better off not knowing there was that $50,000 award. But it was announced to them before the telecast.
They shouldn't have announced it, see?
Oh, thank you. I know I have the gray hair to prove it, though.
not falling.
So was Tish, wobbling but not falling. That's how Tish plays to the crowd all the time, just like this, and it's been going on in every break we've had here, having a good time, and Tammy fits right in. They kind of work back and forth.
Dancing with the pin.
She's imitating it. I wonder if it would have fallen, what she would have done.
Right. She probably would have fallen over. 2 in a row for Tammy Turner. While Tish Johnson put down 2 spares in a row.
Tammy averaged 229.33 on this pair. Tonight, just a 205 average, though, so lanes do play differently from day to day.
And there's a little more tension and pressure.
Sure. She trails by 23 pins. She could take it to 13 with strike rate.
So we've got ourselves a ball game.
She is wondering how that carried. That ball hit pretty weak. I'm told that Tish Johnson, I told you earlier she was using 2 bowling balls, actually grabbed the wrong ball on the right lane last time up when she went leaving a 7-7. That'll happen. Many of the players, if they use 2 balls, if you use the same ball in particular, the same brand ball, looks the same, just drilled with a different weight block inside, in a different position. It's very easy to pick up the wrong bowling ball. Just hanging on.
This one is close going into the 10th.
She can strike out. Tish can for 257. Best Tammy can do is 255. So she needs 2 strikes and 9 to shut out Tammy Turner.
There's one of them.
One more. One more, if you heard her. She's saying one more. Tish Johnson. Tammy Turner getting 9, but what a story, what a comeback for Tammy Turner after that absence. I know she was assisted a lot by the chiropractors this week who were out helping us all week long.
What a comeback story. And how about her surgeons and the whole medical staff that got her back on her feet? And you're right, we should mention Robert Kilbaugh, one of the chiropractors here, as well as TJ Mundheim. They really helped this woman a lot, and a lot of the other players. But what a testament to modern medicine. This woman finishing 3rd after not bowling at all in 97 competitively. And everybody appreciates what this woman has gone through and what she has accomplished here. So Tish Johnson advances to face the #1 woman on the stepladder, and Tammy Turner, a victor in her own right. It's Tish Johnson against Carol Giannotti after this. 58 women began this tournament. Let's take a look at the top 24 finishers. We'll begin with number 6, Lisa Wagner. She just missed the cut. She's working with us in the booth. 30 career titles for her.
Nikki Giannoulias cashed in 19 of 21 events last year and still on top of her game in 98. Lisa Bishop was voted Rookie of the Year last year.
In the number 14 slot, it's Marianne DeRupo, a four-time titleist from Succothana, New Jersey.
Cheryl Daniels, she's a wealth of talent on the lanes and in the recording studio, so watch for her album coming up soon called Dreams.
And hey, there's Jan Schmidt. I told you she was a good bowler. I said that at the top of the show. Jan, you finished in the money in the top 25. As we take a look at the list, I'd like to mention Leanne Barrett, if I may. Her 80-year-old grandfather is undergoing surgery. She's hoping the best, and we wish him the best. And now we are ready to start the big finale. Carol Giannotti against Tish Johnson. Carol Giannotti, the Perth powerhouse. She's from Morley, Perth, Australia. She is a right-hander. This is her 11th year this year. Oh, what a way to start out, a righty on lane 21, knocking them all down.
And it was Carol's choice. She chose to start the match. She'll finish on lane 22. So obviously she does like 22 better. She's going to put the pressure on herself, but she wants to finish on that lane.
She felt that was a little bit more important maybe to finish on 22. There you see the final score from the third match, 257 to 234. Johnson defeating Tammy Turner. Great start. Tish had what, 6 in a row in the last one? So see if she can continue it.
4 titles from that number 2 position.
She's very comfortable there. And she's comfortable on lane 21 as she puts together back-to-back strikes as the pressure mounts for Carol Giannotti block. And now the pressure shows.
Interesting. She chose lane 22 to finish on and coming high on that lane. Average 212 on this pair during the week.
And she converts. Carol Giannotti blocked, 9th on the all-time money list.
She's all field, this lady. 5-step approach, pushes the ball up and out, gets it moving, and that's what sets the pace for her release here. Deep knee bend, nice smooth roll on the ball. Carol gets a lot of forward roll, knocks down a lot of pins that way, and her key is her push right here. She needs to get it moving, and she lets the ball take her. That's a good tip.
That was pretty weak.
That lane has been giving her trouble during the warm-ups. While we would go to break, she'd step out and take a few warm-up shots, and she wasn't having much luck on 21, so I was quite surprised when she opened with a strike.
A little bit of a soft 10 there. We saw Tammy with the same problem on that lane, playing close to the same line. Ball just not driving through, actually kind of rolling out.
You know, talk about a contrast in styles. Carol Giannotti block is a lefty. I'm sorry, he's a righty. And we've got Tish Johnson, who's a lefty. There's one contrast. The other contrast is what this woman did during the hiatus, 4 months before the winter season began. She worked, she trained, she lost weight, she really got focused. Where Carol Giannotti hung out, went out on the water ski, went back to the land down under, only came back a couple of weeks ago. She still has a little jet lag, she said.
Yeah, it's interesting, although, you know, it depends. Carol had a long year last year, made a lot of shows, 11 shows last year. She needed a break.
She had 3 wins last year, too. Three strikes and 9 pins.
And that ends the chance for a $50,000 award from MasterCard today.
Folks at MasterCard can close the bank vault.
But don't worry.
Until next week.
We have 22 more chances.
That's right.
While Carol was at home, she got to spend a little bit of time with her husband, Neil, who went over to Australia with her, and she wanted to wish him a happy Valentine's Day. She said it was so relaxing. She needed that break. It gets tiring out here, and Carol was one with myself and Carolyn Dorn Ballard and Kathy Dorn that traveled to South Africa last year. So really, there was very little time rest during the entire year.
As enjoyable travel is, it can be straining, time changing, etc.
Now it's interesting that Carol seems to be having the same problem on 22 that we saw earlier on lane 21. She was high on the first shot, made a move, and now light on the second.
And she converts as we take a look at our chiropractors here this week.
TJ Mannheim and Robert Poolbaugh. I'll tell you what, these guys are great. And I see a lot of chiropractors, and they kept me bowling this tournament and several other people out here. Robert was here the entire week, every night. They're definitely in the top of their field.
Carol Giannotti still has not settled into her groove. Come on. She opened with a strike. Now has a handful of spares to follow that up with. Her goal, she said, was to become bowler of the year and remain as consistent as she was last year. She feels her rhythm and her timing is good. I wonder if we'd ask her that question right now, if she'd feel the same way.
I think she would. I think it's just a matter of getting lined up over here, and we've seen that it's not easy to go. The scores have not been high like they've been all week. Yes. So Carol doesn't lose her field that easily. When she's bowling well, she continues good timing.
Now, during match play, Tish Johnson lost to Carol Giannotti, but she did reduce her total pin lead from 357 down to 168, so she's been gaining ground on her and gaining ground on her, and tonight it looks like she's got her in her sights.
And I should mention match play. Really new format this year, Leandra. Only 24 games of match play. Only 20 was the top 24. We did 3 years ago.
Back when I was calling the game, you were doing that.
18 games of qualifying, 3 blocks of 6. So we have 2 days of qualifying.
And you were looking at AMF Special Events Manager Tim Dooley, who's enjoying the action here in Lubbock, Texas.
Light again on 22. Seems to be having a problem on that lane. And again, after the 18 games of qualifying, we then cut to the top 24 as we used to. Still paying those 32 spots and paying them very well. So you still cash if you're in the top 32.
That's what everybody likes. I said when we were talking to the bowlers what they thought about the format, and they liked that the fact that the money's still there for 32.
Right. A huge difference now in Mackey covers that very well. For instance, this week, as it turned out, 20's first place was plus 196, and it was a tie between Leanne Barrett and Liz Johnson. 32nd place was plus 85. So 111 pins difference between what it would have taken last year to make the cut and this year in the same event.
So the gap is widening here. Let's quickly address the name change. It used to be the Lady Pro Bowlers Tour, and now it's a PWBA.
Professional Women's Bowling Association. Exciting new change, a great new logo. You can see what pin tweaks.
I love the logo. I really do.
It was, it's time. Women is the name of the sport now. Look at that shot. Flush and watch her.
That's a professional woman. And there's another one as the lead swells to 47.
A lot of change is going to be happening this year for the tour. Please continue to watch us. You're going to love it. And we're affiliated now with MDA, Muscular Dystrophy Association, doing a lot of things throughout the year. You'll see them at different events. This year, this week, held a wine and cheese party, did some pledge packets, went out. All the league bowlers helped out raising money for MDA. It's a great, great charity, and we're very proud to be a part of that.
Tish Johnson can do no wrong. Come on. What a shame that in the fourth frame she only had a spare.
Watch this shot. Looks like all the rest. 10 pins on the deck, and she knows it.
And now Carol Giannotti Block has found the groove, putting back-to-back strikes together, 21 and 22.
She has to continue to strike. There is no other option here.
Yes.
She can punch out for 232. Tish Johnson right now going at about a 249 pace. She's going to make Tish step
is the trophy, a very Texas-style trophy, I might add. It's a young lady with her arm around a horse, a small horse that's seated. Does MasterCard give you $49,000 if you come up one frame short? Oh. This is this hurts. Look at this, 9 frames.
For the whites, yes.
Only one with a spare. The rest all strikes.
Tish was kind of laughing about that strike. Really, she did not expect it to carry. Half pocket hit. And she may not have to wait all year to make that decision about whether she's going to continue to bowl or not. I'll bet money she has already made it tonight.
All that training in Vegas, staying there for a month, working with John Jowdy. Paying off here tonight. Paying off big time. Nothing to hang her head about. Pressure's off. She's on easy street.
Last title came in 95 for Tish Johnson.
Rob has ended. Yep. She's got to be near tears. I know a lot of people in the house out.
And the crowd was standing up to applaud, and she did a classy thing. She said, "Sit back down, please be quiet. Carolyn's up on the ground."
Oh, Lynn won't drop.
And I always feel so badly, Andrew, for the top seed player who has commanded the tournament throughout the week, comes out here in one game, and it's gone.
Sometimes I think it's tougher being number one. I really do. Although you're guaranteed a great payday either way.
Sure.
But still, it is. It's tough. Second place for Giannotti Block ends with a strike and a $5,000 paycheck. Everyone's on their feet for this lady, Tish Johnson of Northridge, California. She finished 4th in Lubbock, Texas last year, but she's number 1 tonight.
Oh, definitely.
We're going to step aside, but when we come back, we'll chat with Tish Johnson, the winner here in 1998 at the AMF Lubbock, Texas Open.
Tish Johnson is our champion here in Lubbock, Texas, and she did it in resounding fashion. Tish Johnson defeating Carol Giannotti Block. Welcome back to Lubbock, and this smiling face is our winner. And Tish, congratulations. You've got to be all smiles tonight.
It's been a long time coming. It's been 2 years since I won. Carol bowled great all week, everybody who made the show, and I'm just happy I won.
Well, what you've really been waiting for is the man with the check next to you, and his name is Jimmy Self, and he's the AMF Texas Region Manager to present the big payday.
Tish, on behalf of AMF Bowling Centers, I'd like to present you with the championship check. Congratulations. You make it look far too easy.
Isn't that the truth? And now let me bring in Pam Justice, the AMF Classic Lanes Manager, to present the official trophy.
Tish, I'd like to present to you your trophy and to commemorate your win here at AMF Classic Lanes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'll take that. We're going to let Jan ask you a couple of questions because I know this trophy's pretty heavy.
I noticed that you grabbed for the check there. Speaking of checks, was the $50,000 check on your mind in that second match or the last one?
The only thing I want to do is come out and bowl the best I could and try to make good ball changes, which I did. I ended up throwing one ball in one lane and one ball in the other lane. I messed up in the first match and picked up the wrong ball, but that happens.
I was going to ask about that. That was the shot when you missed your consecutive strikes. I was told in the back that you did grab the wrong ball. Why were you using 2 balls?
The right lane was hooking a lot for me, and the left lane was like the same that I bowled on all week. And so I used a ball on the night block that went a little bit straighter, and that's the ball I end up using on 22 and use the other ball on 21.
Well, you worked very hard over the break. It looks like it's paid off. Have you made your decision yet? Already? Are you going to come back next year?
We'll see how the rest of the year goes. I want to say hi to everybody at home, my mom and my brother and stuff. And Jowdy, thanks for all the help that you've given me.
Obviously, that help showed tremendously. You know, 4 times in your career, you have finished number 1, coming from the number 2 position. Now, this is the 5th time. That seems to be a lucky spot for you. Do you prefer to be number 2 going in?
I like to be first because the pay's better. The worst you can finish is second. But I do bowl pretty good from the second spot. And I want to thank AMF. You guys always put on a good show for us. Pam, your staff was excellent.
All right, now we've got to get the inside story, though, because you said, and that is well-deserved applause, I might add. You brought up the name John Jowdy, and you said that you worked very hard over the hiatus. It's about 4 months. You spent a month in Vegas. Specifically, what did you work on so that everybody knows the inside story?
John's been trying to get me, like there's a bar, and he's been trying to get me to get the ball going a little bit faster. And it's really hard when you're stuck in a certain way. So as you notice, I was holding the ball up a little bit higher than I normally do. So that's really what I've been working on. He said that was mostly my key that I've been having trouble with, because then I top the ball a lot doing it the other way with the new reactives that have come out.
I think you've conquered that problem, and John Jowdy certainly did the trick, and I guess maybe he deserves some of this big paycheck. You realize that you are the first PWBA champion in history and the first winner of 1998. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'm glad it's over.
All right, now, there was another dramatic story here, and that would have to be the story of Tammy Turner. And Tammy Turner, as many of you know, underwent tremendous back surgery. It was called lumbar fusion, and there were screws and pins involved. It was a 3-hour operation. Didn't bowl at all in '97. Took the entire year off to recoup. And Tammy, everybody is so impressed, not just with your being here, but how well you did.
Oh, thank you very much. I just want to thank my parents and my friends. I was trying not to get choked up. And all the ladies on tour and all the fans that wrote, I appreciate it.
And I think what is really an important thing to keep in mind here is not only did you have this remarkable comeback, but how far you came back. I mean, you couldn't even walk after this surgery. You are a medical miracle.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I struggled a little bit in the start, but I've been bowling for about 7 months, so I just want to say Carol bowled great, and congratulations, Tish.
Well, how do you feel? I mean, does it change your whole perspective? You don't really mean that, do you? No. Does it change your whole perspective on bowling in general?
Yeah, of course. You appreciate it a little better, and you enjoy the time you spend a little more than you did before. I have a little bit more fun. It's not. I'm still as serious. I still want to win, and I still want to do good, but I just have a much greater appreciation.
Well, you two were the most animated bowlers, and I wish I was a fly on the wall to listen to you two jawboning each other. But obviously this day belongs to Tish Johnson, our champion, our winner, our first PWBA champion, and fine bowling here tonight. And again, hats off to the folks who own the AMF Classic Lanes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. For Jan Schmidt, I'm Leandra Riley. We'll see you next week in Huntsville, Alabama for the AMF Rocket City Challenge.